Oh man, let's get it started. First and foremost, man, rest in peace to John Witherspoon. Another legend down, man. But he lived a full life, so it's not a saddening moment. I mean, it'll always be sad when someone goes. It's just a way of life. But he did his thing, you know what I'm saying? He gave us so many gems, so many classics, from collabing with Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, to the Boondocks, to the Fridays, to the Wayans Bros, and he's done a lot more. And if I keep talking about it, I'll be here all day, but it's definitely kind of sad, man, because he's a legend. A lot of people grew up on Pops, the iconic Bang Bang Bang, you know what I'm saying? And they're rebooting Boondocks, dude, which is like, damn, son, because they haven't even started doing anything yet. He's gone, so it's like, what's going to happen with Granddad's character? So it's just like, ugh. And he was still working, considering he was like 77 or something like that. He was up there. He was still out here, man, still grinding, still doing his thing, still doing what he loved. So it's not, that's what I'm saying, like, it's saddening, but it's not sad. But even so, it's unfortunate. It's just wild because it made me realize like how old he really was. And I always knew he was old, obviously, but it's just like damn, like Pops was old. Like, that's a fact. But yeah, man, salute to him, man. A legend, cemented himself in the world. Yo, that's how I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be someone that leaves his fucking mark, dude. When it's all said and done for me, I want to be someone that can be remembered by people as well. You feel me? That's a fact. But rest in peace, yo, John Witherspoon. But, yo, I've been wanting to talk about, low-key, I'm wanting to talk about some DC stuff for a while, and it hasn't been much being produced, except recently. With the hype of the Joker coming out, I'm not talking about that yet. But what I am going to talk about, I'm going to get into these DC shows. The shows that I feel like, especially on the internet, man, they don't get enough credit, because we all know where DC stands with the film franchises, right? Like, it's a lot of up and downs, it's a lot of highs and lows, and it just kind of depends on who's helming the project more than anything. But, like, I do think studio interference has plagued DC, especially the last few movies, the Justice League and Batman v Superman. Because that whole little universe that they built, man, dude, that could have went so differently if they didn't try to rush and play catch up with Marvel when they really didn't have to. Because now that Marvel is kind of, like, they're kind of entering their whole new phase and wave of films coming out, and they're really, a lot of it's preparation. They're kind of taking like a little step back, year and a half or so step back. Like, they're releasing stuff, but it's not like super grand right now because they just put out so much material. This would have been DC's perfect time now. Oh, our window's here. We got our pocket. Let's swoop in with but they kind of messed it up. They fumbled early. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? They fumbled the bag super early. They jumped the gun instead of giving Superman his proper sequels. They tried to rush and they tried to rush Justice League, and we got what we got. But it's not here to talk about, to like bash that, because I've already kind of made my peace with that situation, considering that they're going in a whole new direction and they're revamping it. So I'm not going to keep harping on it. You know what I'm saying? It happened. It didn't work out. Now I just kind of have to hope that they learn from their mistakes. Now they're moving forward now with the new Batman coming out. The casting looks good. We got Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne Batman. We have Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle and Catwoman. And they just confirmed Jeffrey Wright for Jim Gordon. So the cast looks strong. We'll see. But we already know where it stands with the films. Like, I don't know. We got to see where that goes. But with the shows have been winning for a while. Like, especially Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends. And now they're introducing Batgirl now. Batwoman, not Batgirl. Not Barbara Gordon, but Batwoman. But I've been getting into them lately, my girl and I. We're on like season 5 of Arrow. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching the shows unfold. I'm on season 3 of Flash as well. And I'm trying to kind of watch them all together because, they have the timelines and then the crossovers. So you want to be up to date and caught up. So I'm trying to watch them in, pretty much chronological order. It's a little difficult because like at a certain point, it's like the shows all kind of came on in the same week, each new episode. So they would probably come on based on whatever show the timeline supported, like the most, I guess. So if the crossover supported, I guess Flash, it seemed like Flash would be premiering earlier that week. If it supported Arrow, then or whatever. I don't know. But we just been going through the shows, and I'm thoroughly satisfied and impressed with what they've done, and it makes sense as to why like DC's been able to really keep a lot of its relevance, especially outside of like the animated world, because it seems like the only thing that they've been able to really dominate with is like animated films and the animated projects. All of them shits have been lit. You go look up any of the Batman animated films, any of the Justice League animated films, the Superman films, the Aquaman films, the Wonder Woman films, like all of them shits are fire. Suicide Squad, all of that shit, it's lit. But these live actions, they deserve more credit, man. They 100% deserve more credit, because I have been watching and I support it because I'm impressed. Because I was never a super big Arrow guy. You know what I'm saying? I've always known of the Green Arrow. I never really like paid much attention to him. Like, in all honesty, I just never really, I don't know. But I guess the same could be said for like Daredevil, because I wasn't super into Daredevil until the show came out. I mean, I knew a lot more about Daredevil because I dipped into the comics and stuff like that of it, but it wasn't until the show I was just like, yo, Daredevil is okay. I can rock with him. And it's definitely the same for Arrow. Now, what I did notice, skewing through the series, and this is spoilers, not really a big one, but mini spoilers. I'm gonna say spoilers regardless. The show definitely feels very Batman-esque, and I don't know if it's because, like, perhaps the network, because they're all CW shows. So, well, initially Supergirl was, I believe, CBS, but then CW was able to get the property. But I don't know if they didn't have I don't know if CW didn't have Warner's approval to use Batman, but it just seems like they couldn't use Batman, so they made Arrow Batman. He fights a few of Batman's villains. Not only that, but it's his demeanor. Like, he has that cold presence and that desire to live, not even desire, but that inability to not live on the edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like Batman. He's bordering on that brink of crossing over and becoming that true criminal, and staying on that like that good side. He's battling good and evil within himself. Now, I don't remember Green Arrow being like that initially. I kind of remember him being like lighthearted. I kind of remember him being like, excuse me. I don't know. I always kind of looked at him like he reminded me a lot of the Flash a little bit, to be honest, yo. He reminded me a lot of the Flash with a fucking bow and arrow. Like, cracking these little quips and all that shit. That's how I remember him, but I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. But I do also remember in Smallville, their iteration of Oliver. He was a lot like this Oliver too. He was broody. He was a little more lighthearted when he wasn't dressed up as Arrow or whatever, but he was still kind of closed off. He like kind of standoffish. He had like that, he kind of gave you that vibe, like, there was another side of him, like, oh shit, okay, he's hiding something, but whatever. Either way, show's pretty dope. Like, show's pretty lit. And I like how they structure the show. Like, another spoiler again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. Like, they'll hit you with a flashback. They usually start off the show within the flashback, and then they'll bring you to present time. And usually that flashback will always have some type of relation to whatever he's dealing with within that episode. Whether it's like something he's wrestling with, like internally, whether it's something that someone's told him, something that he needs to remember, whether it's something that just needs to like manifest for him or something like that. The flashback always pertains to the episode, and it always gives you a nice little insight of what Oliver went through and why he is kind of doing what he's doing. Now, the first season, it's a good first season. I think it's a really solid first season. It definitely it highlights his brutality, and it shows. And this becomes apparent the more that they show his flashbacks and his story, and the more that you see what Oliver went through. Why he's so brutal and vicious in season 1, why he's so hardened, and why he's so close to crossing over to that edge and crossing over to that side where he just loses himself altogether. Like, the shit that he had to go through on that island was vicious and it was out of control. The stuff that he had to experience and witness, and the limits he had to push, he had to really cross all boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Those limitations that you put on yourself mentally, that you have to tell yourself sometimes when people just are doing a little too much, but you know that you're a civilized person. Yeah, he had to cross those boundaries. And when you have to cross those boundaries, that type of shit changes you. It fucks with you psychologically and it alters who you are. And that's pretty much what the whole flashback show. They all show like the alteration of Oliver Queen that pretty much turns him into this vigilante character. It's really dope. Shit's super dope. But yeah, so they start off with the flashbacks. Oliver comes back. So like, a little quick rundown of why he was even on. He's a rich playboy, college dropout. You know, the typical. Too much money to care. And too many women throwing themselves at him to really give a fuck about anything but whatever he wants to do in the moment. He goes on a cruise with his father. He has a girlfriend, but he takes his girlfriend's sister. These are more spoilers if you didn't remember earlier. This is all spoilers. The whole episode's spoilers, so just remember that. And like, takes his girlfriend's sister. This is all season 1. This is kind of first episode shit. Takes his girlfriend's sister. They're on a cruise or whatever. And then the ship goes down. Ship goes down. You find out that apparently the girl's sister dies. The only people that's alive is Oliver, his father, and someone else from the ship. I think the captain of the ship. I think it's the captain. There's not enough water, not enough food. Oliver's father proceeds to tell him about how he's done all of these things and how he's been a part of something that he's not proud of. And that he really just wanted to make the city a better place, and somehow he lost his way and he fucked up. And that's kind of the whole premise of season 1, because he hands Oliver this little book. Oliver doesn't know that the book contains a list of people. A list of people who are a part of this group that's done like severe harm to the city. So he gives him that. He gives him like a super quick rundown. Now, mind you, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's like, Dad, what are you talking about? What's going on? What are you doing? His father realizes, okay, like there's not enough food really for any of us to survive. So if anyone's going to survive, it's going to be you. You're going to right my wrongs. Takes the gun that he has. He shoots the captain. And then he shoots himself. And Oliver's sitting there, stressed the fuck out. I don't know what the fuck. Get to the island. The island's called Lian Yu. That's the island he lands on. He buries his father. What happens? I'm sorry, I'm on season 5, so I'm really thinking back. This is all off memory. He buries his father, and then he's on the island. He's looking at the book. There's nothing in the book. He doesn't see any names or whatever. And I believe that's when he runs into these like soldiers that's on the island. He ends up getting captured or getting like tied up. And then someone ends up saving him. It's this wild man. He ends up saving him, getting him down. This wild man shooting bow and arrows, mind you. He's shooting bow and arrows. He has like a handmade bow, and he's fucking Robin Hood, just clapping niggas. So he frees Oliver. And he brings him back to this little cave. He heals him because Oliver's wounded. And then he teaches him his first lesson of being stranded on an island. which is survival. Oliver's starving, and then there's a live chicken in there, and he forces him to do what he has to do to survive. But yeah, that's the whole beginning rundown of how he got to the island, and then from there on, everything else kind of shapes him into being like who he is. Now, I wasn't gonna give like a play-by-play of each episode or whatever. I don't know, I might do something like that in the future, but not right now. I really just wanted to talk about like just the seasons in a whole and the seasons in general. Because like with this first season, what you really see is someone who is like, he is so anxious to do something with his life, right? Because his whole life he's just been coasting through. He's rich, he's successful. You know what I'm saying? He has everything at his feet. His parents' money, they let him do whatever he wants. There's no real consequences for him. You know what I'm saying? And then now he's put in a situation where he has to struggle for survival. He loses one of the closest people in his life, his father, whom he's looked up to his entire life. And he's figuring out all this shit, and then he goes through all of this shit, right? So now he's coming back with this sense of purpose, right? Because on this list, he finds out, as far as the list goes, he finds out that if you heat the paper, the names pop up. So he comes back from the island, and his whole point and purpose is, I need to knock off the names on this fucking list. I need to get these people out of here. This is a list full of everyone who's causing harm, who's been causing harm, or who has caused harm to the city. That's why everything is so fucked up. Because in this show, Starling City, it's pretty much Gotham. Well, it's pretty much Gotham. Like it's not Gotham, and it's pretty much Gotham, bro. Like they model it after Gotham. The city's dark as fuck, 24/7. The sun comes out, but it barely stays out, and there's always some wild shit happening. But yeah, so these are all the people on the list. They're the ones who are responsible for all the major things happening, like in this city. So we got to get these people out of here. So when he comes back, he has like his little setup or whatever. He dons the hood, and now this is the season 1, right? So his costume is pretty like mediocre. He got on his fucking hood that he like made or whatever, and then he's like painting his fucking eyes. He don't even have an official mask. His fucking face paint like a fucking soldier or something. He looking like a crazy man. Shit's wild. But he comes back, and you can just see the ruthlessness. Like when he's interrogating people and he's trying to find out who these people are on the list that he's trying to get. He needs information, he's torturing motherfuckers. And what he's really doing is he's doing what was done to him, and because over the course of him being on that island and just being away those 5 years, he was away for 5 years. 5 years. Everybody thought he was dead. He was away for 5 years. Over the course of that, he was been tortured over like 6 or 7 times. Like, to be tortured even once is out of control. But for that shit to continuously have happened to you, like he has been tortured, and then he's had to torture. He also learned how to. You know what I'm saying? And like, it shows, because when he comes back, he is just so ruthless, and then he's killing people. And that's a major thing in season 1. In season 1, he's murdering motherfuckers, and whether they're criminals or not, when you're someone who's supposedly on a path of justice, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's like I don't want to say, even if it's like dark justice, you should still toe a line. It should still be some type of boundary, because once you cross a certain like section, or once you cross that line, so to speak, then it's no longer justice anymore. You're kind of just doing whatever the fuck you want to do. Now you're just making up the rules as you go, and that's not okay, because we have to be held at a certain standard. That's why Batman does not cross that line. He does not kill. He'll break something. He'll fuck you up. You'll be stressed the fuck out, but he's not gonna kill you. He's not gonna like really hurt you like that. Like not like that. And he's definitely not gonna kill you. But in season 1, he is smoking everybody. It's like, oh my God, he's just letting niggas have it. And that's kind of a big thing that you see, because after season 1, specifically right after season 1, what happens at the end of season 1, he starts to realize that, he has to have a more not really flexible, but a more like broadening view of justice rather than his narrow-minded view. Because before to him, it was all about the list. It's like the list is everything. If these names are not on the list, and it's several times with his right-hand man, John Diggle, that's a brother. Hell yeah, that nigga's lit. But he becomes Spartan. More spoilers. There's spoilers throughout the whole thing. Just deal with it. Yeah, but like Diggle, first he starts out as his bodyguard, and then eventually he finds out. And then they also got some other shit tied into Deadshot. Boom, that's definitely a character that's in it. That nigga's super lit. But yeah, so Diggle has to kind of, and Diggle's like his voice of reason. Like he's that guy that keeps him on his toes. You know what I'm saying? He makes sure that he doesn't cross that line like Oliver. This is not the way. Oliver, you need to think this over. Like he's that dude. You know what I'm saying? Diggle's wild lit. And several times he has to remind him like, listen, you might want to reconsider the way that you're viewing justice, because this right here, you know what I'm saying, killing people, this is not it. But it shows that Oliver had to learn. He had to learn and really understand, because he thought he would just come back, throw on the hood, and just fix problems right away. And the more he started to learn, like there's growing pains. There's growing pains to this vigilante shit. You can't just run out of here and fucking think that you're gonna just like, you're just gonna do whatever you want and that's it. No, man, because people are gonna push back, they're gonna fight back, and there's gonna be all type of things that you didn't anticipate. And season 1 is really growing pains for Oliver. I mean, he has growing pains every season, but season 1 they hit hard. They definitely hit hard. But it's a lot of lit shit. You meet Huntress in season 1. You meet Malcolm Merlin in season 1. Malcolm Merlin is a lit villain. Like, I really enjoyed how enigmatic they made him and how his build-up really, really flowed. Like, they introduced him beautifully. I love how they introduced Merlin. And he becomes he's a dope-ass villain. He's a really, really good season 1 villain. I can't even be mad. And they bring you Roy. Now, I don't know what the whole Speedy thing, or the Speedy debacle with Roy and Thea and him not being Speedy, but he is, you know, another spoiler, Arsenal. So it's like, whatever. But they introduced Roy. It took him a little while to get to the suit, but I'm not too mad. I like the way they did it. They didn't want to rush it, and I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? You can't really rush these things. Because it's only season 1 and you're still trying to figure out like what Oliver's doing and where you want to take him, that he's definitely not even ready for a sidekick. And then when he does really make Roy a sidekick, Roy's so goddamn hard-headed that shit is growing pains for that shit too. So I definitely understand it. But season 1 was a good season 1, yo. It was a good introduction to the character. It flowed pretty well. There were small little points where it got slow. This is like one of the most annoying Laurel Lance seasons. Like, I actually like Laurel more when she fucking becomes, spoiler alert, Black Canary. Like when she officially puts her suit on and she starts going out there trying to fuck niggas up. I like her a lot more. Way more. Because when she's just sitting in the background, just like whining and fucking complaining and always fucking mad, it's just like, ugh. That's when it got slow. In my opinion, season 1 got its slowest when dealing with Laurel. But they improved the character quite a bit, so it's cool. But yeah, season 1, in my opinion, was solid. Like, it's solid, dude. It's super solid. I would definitely recommend y'all checking this shit out, bro. Arrow's good, yo. It's a good show. If you need something to watch and you fuck with DC and you're kind of a Batman fan, fuck with Arrow. It's lit. I think you'll fuck with it. But I want to see where it goes, because right now it's in season 8 in real time. Me and my girl are only in season 5, but we're getting through it. We'll be on season 6 soon enough. And I heard like one of these seasons gets pretty slow, so I'm not in the mood for that. But we're also watching The Flash, and we're gonna get into Supergirl, because I want to get into Infinite Crisis. Like, I want to see how it all ties in. And I see the trailers on the internet, on Twitter and shit, and that shit is getting me fired up. So I want to catch up. But I would definitely recommend watching this and checking this out if you haven't. It's a good show. And it's definitely a big up for DC because we've been taking hits. I'm a DC guy, man. Marvel's cool. Those guys are alright. But I'm always a DC. I'm always a Batman, Superman, Justice League kind of guy. That's always been me. And it's good to know that we have avenues where we are winning. Because the Marvel shows haven't been like super great. So it's good to see we're doing our thing. But yo, shit's lit. Go watch it, man. Check it out. I'm gonna do another one of these, man. I'm gonna start doing these more regularly. Just like a general rundown of seasons 1, 2, etc. for all the shows. The next one I'm gonna do, it might be Flash or it's gonna be season 2 of Arrow. But y'all take it easy, man. I'm out of here.